Nietzsche himself went through great suffering. His father's early death, the struggles of religious life, severe physical illnesses, loneliness, and depression. Yet, he became one of the most influential philosophers in history. His ideas reshaped the world of philosophy, and their impact is still felt today. By challenging traditional values and proposing new systems of thought, Nietzsche paved the way for generations of modern philosophers. Hello, it's Saber, and you are watching and listening to part 1 of episode 8 of Failure Chronicles. In this episode, I want to talk about Friedrich Nietzsche and his ideas. And just like before, I have prepared an imaginary interview with an AI-generated version of this great philosopher. You will hear that interview in part 2 of this episode. So, why Nietzsche? And what is the point of all these heavy philosophical discussions anyway? Nietzsche is the one who said, "What does not kill me makes me stronger," and also, "Live your life in such a way that you would want to repeat every moment of it endlessly." I think reading or knowing these kind of ideas can be comforting during the difficult and exhausting moments of our painful lives, those confusing twists and turns where you feel like you are breaking down. These thoughts might even become a guide or a kind of life manual for us. Friedrich Nietzsche has a unique view of humanity, of our abilities, and of the universe, different from today's scientific, biological, and evolutionary outlook. His view is more idealistic, but still fascinating and worth thinking about. And just to be clear, mastering all of Nietzsche's ideas is a complex task. I'm just an ordinary person with ordinary knowledge, and I'm sharing only the general information that is publicly available on the internet or Wikipedia, things easy for everyone to understand. Friedrich Wilhelm Nietzsche was born on October 15th, 1844, in Röcken, in Prussia. His father was a pastor, and he passed away in 1849, when Nietzsche was only 5 years old. After his father's death, the family moved near the town of Nuremberg. Nietzsche grew up there in a religious and conservative environment, living with his mother, his grandmother, and his famous and complicated sister, who later contributed to his bad reputation. At age 14, Nietzsche entered the boarding school Schopenhauer, where he became familiar with literature, philosophy, and the humanities. After finishing school, he studied at the University of Bonn and later at the University of Leipzig. In Leipzig, Nietzsche encountered the works of Arthur Schopenhauer, another famous German philosopher who deeply influenced him. In AD 69, Nietzsche became a professor of classical philology at the University of Basel, and during the time he developed a close friendship with the German composer Richard Wagner. Later, due to his ideas, especially his anti-Christian views, he left the university and focused entirely on writing. He lived a lonely life, never married, never had children, and called himself a lonely prophet, the prophet of the skeptics. And he believed, correctly as it turned out, that his work would gain recognition only years after his death. During his lifetime, he was mostly known for his attacks on Christianity. Nietzsche's writings had a major influence on both philosophy and literature. His most famous book, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, uses the character Zarathustra to explore themes like the Übermensch, the eternal return, and the death of God. Among his other works are Beyond Good and Evil and The Antichrist, in which he strongly criticizes Christianity and presents his own views on religion and its impact on society. Three of Nietzsche's most important ideas, which shook the intellectual world, are these. 1. The death of God. When Nietzsche said God is dead, he did not mean a literal death. He meant that with the growth of science and philosophy in the West, religion had lost its central role. If society no longer relies on Christianity for meaning or morality, then what should replace it? Nietzsche believed humans must create their own meaning, and he introduced ideas like Übermensch and the will to power as foundations for a new value system, one not based on traditional Christian morality. The second idea, the Übermensch, the overman or superman. Nietzsche grew up in a strict Christian household full of women, and this shaped some of his negative opinions about women. Another reason he used the term Überman. The Übermensch is someone who rises above traditional values and social limitations, a person who creates new values and lives for their own ideals, not for society's norms or others' expectations. And the third idea, the eternal return or eternal recurrence. This is one of Nietzsche's most complex and controversial ideas. In some ways, it resembles the concept of parallel universes in physics. Nietzsche says that everything in the world repeats endlessly, and we are trapped in an infinite cycle of repeated experiences. Every moment, like the one right now as I am speaking to you, has happened countless times and will happen again unless we choose to change it. Nietzsche concludes that we should live in such a way that we would gladly repeat every moment forever. That is where his famous quote comes in. Live your life in such a way that you would want to repeat every moment of it endlessly. Another key idea from Nietzsche is the will to power. He believed this is the fundamental driving force in human beings. Through willpower, through wanting, we can achieve more than we think. Even though he spoke about the endless repetition of life, he also believed humans have enough willpower to break this cycle and shape their lives according to their own desires, not according to others, society, family, or religion. Nietzsche valued human freedom deeply and believed that the will to power gives meaning and direction to our lives. Now, about failure. For Nietzsche, failure is not weakness, it's an opportunity for growth and transformation. In Thus spoke Zarathustra. He writes that humans must use failure and hardship as challenges on the path to becoming the Übermensch. The Übermensch, as I said, is someone who rises above their weaknesses and limitations to reach human excellence. Nietzsche himself went through great suffering, his father's early death, the struggles of religious life, severe physical illnesses, loneliness, and depression. Yet, he became one of the most influential philosophers in history. His ideas reshaped the world of philosophy, and their impact is still felt today. By challenging traditional values and proposing new systems of thought, Nietzsche paved the way for generations of modern philosophers. This was part 1 of episode 8 of Failure Chronicles. We talked about Nietzsche before, in the episode about the book When Nietzsche Wept. In this episode, I try to introduce you more directly to his thinking. In part 2 of this episode, you will hear my conversation with the AI-generated version of Friedrich Nietzsche, where I asked him several questions and the AI answered through the lens of Nietzsche's philosophy. I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode. If you found it valuable, please share it with your friends to help this program reach more people. Thank you for watching and listening to this episode. Take care and goodbye.